Hi everybody and welcome back to F1 Manager 2022, and yes, we're going to Silverstone today for the British Grand Prix in Season 2 with Aston Martin, and our driver lineup has done very well for us so far, up into 4th position, best of the rest, which is absolutely amazing. We hold a 15-point lead over Alfa Romeo, which I'm very, very happy with. And in the Drivers' Championship, we have Fernando Alonso up in 8th and Guan Yu Zhou up in 10th after his podium finish in Canada, which was absolutely incredible. If you didn't go and see that one, go check it out in the last episode. And of course, if you're enjoying the series, please do leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff as well, because I always forget to ask. But we are going into Silverstone, so we're going to have to set our weekend performance target. So I think we can get both drivers into Q2, and we'll confirm that one, and then we're going to say one driver into Q3 as well, which I'm very, very excited for. In terms of race targets, I don't think we're going to get the fastest lap, but finish position, yeah, we'll get one driver ahead of 12th, that's fine. We are on a finish position streak, which is now there, 0 of 12 so far. And 0 of 12, 0 of 2, I should say. And the qualifying position, yeah, we're doing okay. We've just got to finish above 14th one more time with one driver, and we get a nice $500,000 dues, which is absolutely awesome. Right, that's all done. I'll go and do practice, see you for qualifying. Here we are then, heading into qualifying for the British Grand Prix, and we're in a very good spot actually. 99% confidence of the car setup for Fernando, 100 for Guan Yu Zhou. We've got all the laps things we needed as well. Yeah, I'm very, very excited. We should be getting full bonus points for both drivers, to be honest. And we set some very, very good times in the British practice as well. Practice 2, we went out and did qualifying laps and actually finished P1 and P2 of that practice session. Can't read too much into that, but let's dive into qualifying. So here we are then at the start of Q1, and I sort of think let's get Guan Yu Zhou out there like we sort of normally do, and see if he can go and set a quick lap in a decent time. We'll go and see what happens here. There's no one else coming out on track at the moment. There goes Ocon, as we're going to have a lot of space. So Alonso's going to go out after Daniel Ricciardo. Guan Yu Zhou setting a fastest lap here, 127.1. Not too bad. Alonso starts his fast lap, gets past Hulkenberg early on. He's got a pretty free run here, Alonso, and he's going to set a 127.02. So we're going to see how these times look in terms of beating others. So Sainz goes faster than us. Zhou is still in 5th at the moment. A yellow flag quickly appears in sector 1. I'm just going to slow this down a little bit. Alonso dropping to 5th. It is only top 15 we need. I'm sort of thinking we can probably put those tyres back on for both drivers, and we will probably be safe given how this is lining up at the moment, because the drivers you'd expect to be in front of us are in front of us. Maybe the Mercedes will improve, Hamilton and Russell, but even then we should still be top 15. So I'm pretty confident with this one. In fact, I might send out Guan Yu Zhou here because everyone's going to come into pit. Hamilton is about to start. Is he going to start a flying lap? No, he's just set a quick time. So I think, yeah, we're going to send Zhou out there because Zhou should do his outlap. These two should come in, and then Zhou should have a completely free track to do that. And we're just going to watch Fernando Alonso because we want to get him out sort of in front. Now the issue here is Zhou going to come out as these guys leave the pit to start their flying lap? Yes, he is. Zhou's going to get caught in traffic. We haven't timed that brilliantly, although Zhou does get past a lot of people on the pit straight, which is fine. So let's jump on board with Guan Yu Zhou for this lap as he's coming through. So Russell at the moment is in the drop zone. So Guan Yu Zhou is hot on the tail of, I think, Lance Stroll in front of him, and this is going to be very interesting. So Stroll should get out the way, and he has moved to the side, but it's right on the corner. I think Guan Yu Zhou nearly had to ease off a little bit there, but he may have just kept some times in. It is a yellow sector 1, which isn't ideal. But Guan Yu Zhou, what can you put in on these used tyres? I'm not expecting these bottom 5 to really improve too much around what they're doing, but we may, of course, Guan Yu Zhou a bit of a problem here. Double yellows for Guan Yu Zhou at the moment, so he looks like he's going to be staying nearly a second off the leaders, which could be an issue, as he's going to come around the final few corners here at Silverstone. And then he's going to... Yep, that is really annoying. You need to get rid of that. Codemasters, or whoever makes Frontier, sorry. As Guan Yu Zhou doesn't improve. He doesn't improve, so that's not too bad. Alonso just getting heat into the tyres, as you can see. So we've got a bit of time for him to start his flying lap. And now the issue is that Guan Yu Zhou is going to be doing a cool down lap as everybody is doing their fast lap. So let's see how that works. As Guan Yu Zhou still sitting in 9th at the moment. That's because no one else has finished their fast laps yet. I think is it Stroll or is it Bottas? No, it is Stroll. So where's Stroll? Stroll's there. So Stroll is going to be coming round to Guan Yu Zhou in a minute, and Guan Yu Zhou should nicely get out of his way. He's tried to early on, but it is going to be into a corner. As Guan Yu Zhou does keep out of the way for that one, so not too bad. And Alonso's not going to be too far off him in a while either. Alonso sets a green sector 1. That is what we like to see to make sure we get out of Q1 for this one. So Guan Yu Zhou, I still feel like Guan Yu Zhou should be safe setting that first time. He should be safe as we're still on board with Fernando Alonso. It's a much longer lap, I would say, at Silverstone. 1 minute 37 or whatever it is, 1 minute 30. Something like that, as Lance Stroll is about to cross the line. Let's go and see what he gets, what he comes across in. So Lance Stroll, there is the line. Stroll doesn't improve. Yeah, he doesn't improve. So he's not going to go above Zhou. Alonso is not far off coming off the first or the final corner, as Daniel Ricciardo is going to cross the line. Daniel Ricciardo, does he improve? No. Ocon does. Alonso well, he goes up to 6, so he does improve slightly. Hamilton up into 5th. So we've got 1, 2, 3 drivers already slower than Guan Yu Zhou, which is good to see. 1, 2, 3, we need... Where's Vettel? Sebastian Vettel is just about to come round. Lando Norris goes there. Vettel does jump above Zhou. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Still only 3 drivers slower than Guan Yu Zhou. Schumacher crosses the line. He's slower than Guan Yu Zhou, as is Tsunoda. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Guan Yu Zhou into Q2. And actually, Guan Yu Zhou, putting in a slow time, still finishes in the top 15 and is 13th. So next up is to get them both into the top 10. Fernando Alonso doing very well there. And we're going to have fresh tyres for Q2. So I'm excited about that. So into Q2 we go. We're going to send out Guan Yu Zhou straight behind whoever that is. Ocon, I think, is coming out first. It might be Sebastian Vettel, but I think it's Ocon. We've got both of them starting on their old set of tyres. Their old set of soft tyres. So this won't be the quickest lap that we set of this session. As Guan Yu Zhou starts. Alonso then starts his fast lap as well. Yeah, we're going to be setting another time after this on fresh soft. So I'm expecting this to be relatively slow in terms of how quickly we could go round. I'm expecting us to improve quite a lot as we go on to fresh softs for the second lap of Q2. And the only reason I do that is because it actually allows us to then have completely fresh set of tyres for Q3 if we get there, and if not, you have more set of softs in the race. So, okay, we're going to be not going to be sending out Guan Yu Zhou as early as we did last time. It caused a bit of havoc as George Russell just nestles into the pit. I think we're going to go now with Zhou, and we're going to go... Oh, I've sent Zhou out too early again, haven't I? I've sent him out early. Right, Hamilton's out, so we're going to follow Hamilton. Zhou may be in a good position here. So Guan Yu Zhou will get on board with his front wing. No, that's a bit weird. Let's get on board over the cockpit like this, over the cockpit. So Guan Yu Zhou starting his flying lap is going to hit quite a lot of traffic, it seems. He's already been held up by a Red Bull. Oh, that's a nightmare. That is a nightmare for Guan Yu Zhou. I've got his timing all wrong yet again, as the Red Bull didn't really get out of the way. So I think Guan Yu Zhou is going to be out of Q2 just because of my own faux pas, because I've actually got him going in all the traffic. I went slightly too early because Alonso is in a great position to get this done, but Guan Yu Zhou is now coming up against the Ferrari. Is it going to get out of the way? It sort of pushes him a bit too... Well, yeah, it's a yellow sector 1, so not ideal. So let's go on board with Fernando Alonso here, and we're watching the TV cameras to see how he does. He's got Hamilton and Ocon in front of him, sort of cutting him a path. Guan Yu Zhou, can you get... I mean, look at all this traffic Guan Yu Zhou's going to come up to in a minute. In his far flying lap is pretty horrendous. He has set a green sector 2 though, As you can see, some of the cars are just weaving to try and get their tyres warm, which isn't going to help. As Alonso sets a green sector 1, can Guan Yu Zhou, if he can get double green sectors, that would be good. He is going up the inside of Max Verstappen. As Max Verstappen, oh come on, get out of the way. We've got our man on a flying lap here. No, that is not ideal there for Guan Yu Zhou. He is going to be going out. He doesn't improve, so Guan Yu Zhou is going to be going out of this one. We could have got him to do another flying lap, to be honest. We could have told him to ease off and then done his flying lap after he crossed the line. But Fernando Alonso then, on the back of Esteban Ocon and Lewis Hamilton, is going to be well out in front to set hidden time. Unlucky for Guan Yu Zhou with that one. We messed it up a little bit. But Fernando Alonso coming round into the final sector. Double green at the moment. I'm going to expect him to jump up to 5th or 6th to give us a chance of getting out of Q2 here. As Hamilton crosses the line. He sets a faster time but stays in 4th at the moment. Ocon also sets a time. And Alonso comes across up into 6th. So not too bad for Fernando Alonso. So let's see how everybody else does in this one. So Alonso is out. Alonso's out of Q2. So both drivers out in Q2, 11th and 14th. Not ideal. Not ideal at all. I've really got to learn how to do the qualifying times. It's because I've been on holiday and I've lost track of how to do qualifying. So into the race we go. In terms of position gains, they're thinking that Fernando Alonso can get 10th. Yeah, we'll go 10th and 13th. I'm happy to agree to that. I think we can get both of the drivers up in that sense. Right, into the strategy then. There is no rain predicted, so it should be a pretty simple race here. Yeah, there's no rain predicted. The grip will be going up. I'm sort of thinking we go medium push. Or how much if we really push the mediums, get onto the hards, and then go softs. Yeah, we could do a long stint on those hards. And then even if we push those softs, I mean, look, yeah, well, you can get quite a lot out of those softs. Okay, we're going to go medium hard, finish on the soft fast tyre for Fernando. And then for Guan Yu Zhou, do we go with just a one stop? I'm just wondering if you can get, if you started on the hards like that, ended on the softs, you can just about make it work. I think we're going to try that. Hards, I know we're going to be slow off the line on the hards. I'm now thinking with Fernando, we go one stop. And we're actually going to, Fernando's not in a bad position here. So I think we delete that stint and we go, do we go medium hard? How long can you drag those mediums out for? Not quite enough for the softs to come into play. Maybe, do we do a two-stop? Do we do a two-stopper? Push the mediums. Actually, no, ease off the mediums slightly. Get onto the softs. Go on to end on the mediums. Push the softs if we can. To like there. And that's just below their wear mark, their wear limit. I think you saw that could work. It says it's slower, but also, why is it not putting us on a fresh pair of softs? If I go like that and then go onto your yeah, it's a fresh set of mediums. Yeah, okay. So fresh set. Hard soft is an interesting strategy for Guan Yu Zhou. It really is an interesting strategy. My only issue is if you start on the hards and you have a safety car, I guess you could come in for the mediums and mix it up like that. Yeah, we'll go for that. We're going to go split strategies. See how this goes. Here we go then. The British Grand Prix at Silverstone. And we're not in the best starting positions here, but we are we've got Alonso and Guan Yu Zhou on it at the moment. We are pushing the tyres. We are deploying the battery. We have underfueled the car slightly. But we're hoping for a good start here as Alonso's already gained a position on Esteban Ocon, which is absolutely superb off the start line. I'm going to assume Ocon will get us back here because of the inside, but a good battle happening with Ocon early on with Fernando Alonso. Can he just squeeze him out? Doesn't look like he can. How is Guan Yu Zhou getting on? Guan Yu Zhou just behind us in this little pack here has got Ricciardo, Vettel and Ocon in front of him as Ocon does look to get us back. But we do have the inside with Fernando Alonso. Lots of people. Medium and hard is the only choice of tyre to start the race here in Silverstone. as a little bit of squabbling happening up front with Gasly and Norris, as Alonso now does get past Esteban Ocon really well, and now he's just got to get past the AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly, someone that you know, my wife and I really don't like in the F1 circuit, but seems very, very fast in this game. So something that, you know, if we want to go all out, then we could sign Pierre Gasly, but because I'm not a huge fan of him, we probably won't. But Alonso, can you get Gasly now? Can you get him? Come on, Joe, we need you to make some moves as well. At the moment, both drivers just sitting in their positions. Right, I think Guan Yu Zhou, we're just going to keep you where you are, mates. We can't push your tyres too hard. Fernando, we can push you a little bit, can't we? We've got you pushing ever so slightly. You're up in 10th, that's fine. When DRS opens, we'll make some moves, as Fernando is trying to get a move done here on Pierre Gasly. Can he get it done? Come on, Fernando, get that inside. He's got the inside. If you get your nose in front on this corner and then into the next right-hander, which is slightly slower to take, you should be in a good position. Alonso up into 9th. That is what we love to see, as the battle with Pierre Gasly carries on. And it is a good circuit here at Silverstone, a classic racing car circuit, as Fernando Alonso just gets his nose in front. And now he just needs to keep pace with Valtteri Bottas and Lando Norris out in front. Gasly still battling. Ocon still in this as well. Guan Yu Zhou on his hard tyres is struggling a little bit, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be okay. That's not too much of an issue, as Alonso does get past Pierre Gasly and is now trying to hunt down Lando Norris. Okay, DRS is enabled on this lap, so after this start-finish straight, we're going to be in a position to see probably a lot more DRS battles happening. Guan Yu Zhou hanging on the back of Daniel Ricciardo, which is fine on his hard tyres, doing that one stop. Don't mind that at all. And Fernando Alonso in a pretty good position right now as well. So at the moment, it's unfolding as you would imagine, and the DRS is going to make a big difference. Bottas not being able to keep up with George Russell is probably the biggest issue we're going to see, but Bottas is going to be overtaken here by potentially 2 drivers, because Lando Norris has got past him and Alonso had the pace under the DRS and will have the inside on the next corner, but he's not going to get it done, and Bottas is fighting back to Norris, and Alonso gets both of them up into 7th place for Fernando Alonso. And now we do need to push to try and get into that DRS of the group in front of George Russell. So we're going to deploy our battery, we're going to burn the tyres a little bit more than we need to. But that was lovely to be viewing that on screen as it happened. Now, can we close up on George Russell? That is the question. Can we make that happen and get in that DRS and then hopefully conserve a bit more of our ERS and our tyres as well? It doesn't look like it's going to be the case, because George is being pulled around by DRS. So I think we just settle for where we are at the moment and we manage it nicely, as Zhou has lost the position to Sebastian Vettel in that DRS train. He's really blocked in there. Daniel Ricciardo having a go at him as well. And Guan Yu Zhou is struggling a little bit. We don't really want to get to the front of this DRS train, but we want them to pull us along on our hard tyres so they last as long as possible. As long as we don't get left behind by it, we're okay. And it's really unfolding to be quite a messy race at Silverstone at the moment, because there isn't a huge gap between Zhou and Alonso. There's about 2 seconds-ish probably, as Alonso's still battling here with Valtteri Bottas. But Guan Yu Zhou sitting in 14th, battling with Daniel Ricciardo. As long as there's no tomfoolery, we'll all be okay. Yeah, so all of the battling we've got between Alonso and Bottas is actually causing us to lose time on Leclerc, but we have pulled away from the group behind. Guan Yu Zhou is hanging on to DRS, which is all we need him to do with his hard tyres on that one-stop strategy, and then we know get onto the mediums or potentially make the hards last if we can and get onto the softs would be massive. But only 8 laps gone, and at the moment it's basically us battling Valtteri Bottas and Zhou just hanging on the back of Daniel Ricciardo. Okay, so while Alonso and Bottas are battling, we're actually just going to get Fernando just to conserve the fuel and conserve his tyres, and if we can drag those mediums out a bit longer, then I've got no issues with that. As long as he stays within DRS, I'm totally happy. In fact, because we're easing off the tyres, we'll probably naturally ease off the fuel anyway. So we're still within DRS, so let's go to conserve for that one, because we will we're still going to remain on the back of Valtteri Bottas, and we can use our battery if we need to, but at the moment I feel like we're in a pretty decent position here. As it's just opening up to about, it's getting close to a second, so let's jump on board and just see if we can. Yeah, did we get DRS then? Yeah, we did. Okay, so we're going to we are going to get right up to the back of Valtteri Bottas with this now. So ease off the tyres, eke them out a bit longer, and try and get the fuel back in line, and we're in a decent position. Okay, so we've got some of our lead runners coming into the pit. Fernando Alonso's done a great job of sticking with Valtteri Bottas whilst conserving fuel and making these tyres last longer as well. We've entered his pit window, but I'm sort of thinking how we've been doing this, we could potentially eke this out. Now, I don't know whether we mix this up a bit and we go, oh, could we do soft? Could we do soft? We could do soft, you know. I'm quite tempted by that because we can actually get a couple of laps out of these mediums, I think. On the current pace we're going at. Or soft would be epic if possible. But then I'm sort of thinking, what's the point? Do we just come in now and go to that set of mediums a bit earlier on? Still end on the soft tyre. Yeah, I think we're going to go with that. We're going to go medium, soft now for Fernando. Get that done. Guan Yu Zhou's still doing a decent job of hanging on to Ocon and that group there. Alonso he always looks like he's about to come out of DRS, and then he just hangs in and makes it work. So I don't mind that. We are pitting soon though, so let's push these tyres a bit more. Do we want to try and... Yeah, let's push. Let's really push, actually. We can conserve that fuel later on in the race. I think whilst we've got our pit window coming up and we're only changing the strategy, not what tyres we're going... the tyres, not the ultimate strategy. I think we can push a little bit harder with Fernando Alonso. Right, so everyone is... Well, not everyone. A lot of people are now coming into pit, which is making me think, do we actually want to change Fernando to a one-stopper? I'm going to assume most people will be coming out on hards. Verstappen pitted, yeah, he's gone to hards. Do we want to just change Fernando to a one-stop? Is this going to be beneficial? If we go onto that, it says the one-stopper is, what, 3 minutes and 5 or 3 seconds and 5 milliseconds. No, yeah, 3 minutes and 5 seconds quicker. But it doesn't account for an increase of pace. No, I think we're going to stick with Fernando's strategy here. I think we are going to stick. I want to try that two-stopper and really make it work. But it does mean we can now push the tyres, and we're going to try and push everything with Fernando because we need to make up some of this time. So Fernando Alonso is going to go full push. Guan Yu Zhou will stick with how it's running. He's up in 7th at the moment, so he's doing a pretty cracking job. Can we... Oh, he's going on to the softs, isn't he? So his hards are going to run long. Really long. And we're going to go for that. So Alonso is going to push, and we're actually going to keep him out on this strategy. We'll just drop that back to neutral. We're going to keep him out on this until that hits like 35, so it might be one extra lap. We're going to allow him to push. Okay, so Fernando Alonso's just gone past the pit straight, so we're going to bring him in on the next lap, and he's going to go onto a new set of mediums. And we're going to bring him in. See, we do have 2 pairs of softs. No, we'll put him onto the mediums, get him onto a fresh set of mediums. So we're going to keep him pushing. We'll get him to deploy his battery as fast as so he can go as quick as he possibly can. And Guan Yu Zhou still up in 6th. He's going to be under a lot of pressure from the faster cars behind him. And again, I am sort of thinking, do we take this opportunity? I think we are, you know. I think we're going to go attack, push, deploy. We're going to give him a couple of laps on that. Fernando, Guan Yu Zhou's strategy is going to change. He's going to go onto the mediums and make those last until the end. And if there's a safety car, we go onto the fresh set of softs. And that's what we go with. So Guan Yu Zhou is going to be pushing hard for a few laps. I don't think we can afford to actually push the fuel that much. So Alonso is going to be pitting. He's 10 seconds off Perez, who I don't think has pitted yet. Oh, he must. I don't know, actually. I know we've been pushing Alonso a lot harder on his tyres because we're doing a two-stop, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. Everyone else will be going till the end of this race, I imagine, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this works out as Fernando Alonso... Oh, Zhou's gained a place. Okay. Lovely stuff. Zhou battling with a couple of drivers here. That looks like Vettel on his left and Norris just in front. So Guan Yu Zhou pushing hard now. Hopefully he can make something work. He is obviously deploying his battery and everything. So, yeah, Alonso, keep flying, mate. One more lap and then, well, half a lap and into the pits. So, Fernando Alonso in, 2.7 seconds stop. He's dropped down to 10th. I think he is going to come out in front of, oh, maybe not. Maybe he won't come out in front of Valtteri Bottas as Zhou gains another position. Zhou pushing those tyres hard is good. So, Alonso back out into aggressive, down to balanced. And we'll pop him onto neutral. So he comes out in 10th ahead of Valtteri Bottas. So that's pretty much the same, although Bottas has gone on to hard tyres. So we should be able to pull away from Valtteri Bottas on our fresh mediums. And then hopefully look to gain, because we do have another pit stop to do. So we need to make sure Alonso actually puts in some decent time here and pulls away from Valtteri Bottas, which will be pretty crucial, to be honest. But at the moment, Valtteri's hanging on. But Alonso up into 10th isn't too bad at the moment, as Perez now does come into pit. So Perez is an interesting one. On the mediums, he's run them very hard. Him and Hamilton have run them very hard. So Guan Yu Zhou has potential here to be leading this Grand Prix. I don't know if he's going to get past them by the time Perez actually comes out. I think Perez will get on. Perez coming off it was mediums, not softs, off to the mediums, onto the hard tyre. Hamilton stays out. Has Hamilton stayed out, or is he not in position? Yeah, he has. Hamilton has stayed out. Guan Yu Zhou is coming down the start pit straight and does get in front of Sergio Perez. Quite a few drivers do, actually. But so this will be very, very interesting now for Guan Yu Zhou. He's got one more lap and then he'll be pitting in, as Alonso is in 10th. He's got Valtteri Bottas right on the back of him. Where is Sergio Perez? He's quite far up the road. So might be a bit of a faux pas with strategy for Alonso here, because he's got another pit stop to do. But we'll just see how it unfolds. So Zhou into the pits then. Hamilton also in as well. So Hamilton's coming in. Oh, there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Someone's run wide. No safety car. A safety car would be lovely for Zhou right now, to be honest, as he's going to come in. So Hamilton is out. What tyres is he onto? I can't see from there. But Zhou's in. On to the medium tyres for Guan Yu Zhou. So that's going to put him a little bit quicker than. Yeah, Hamilton's onto the soft tyres. Alonso up into 7th. Guan Yu Zhou has the overcut work. Guan Yu Zhou comes out just behind Ocon and Ricciardo. Up to 11th, though. So in theory, it has worked reasonably well. So we'll balance that. We'll leave you on neutral. We'll have to just keep an eye on that fuel situation, as Fernando Alonso just saying his tyres are slightly overheating. But he is going for the move on Valtteri Bottas. Can't quite make it work. I'm just wondering, do we let Bottas again? Let Bottas go. We'll harvest up for a little bit. Save some of our elements, let's call them. And just let Valtteri Bottas get in front of us. And then we'll just hang on to the back of his DRS, hopefully. Guan Yu Zhou's lost some time. He's run wide, and it's really putting back into this battle now with Vettel. He's lost pace to Ocon and Norris, and we'll watch the replay. So Guan Yu Zhou, yeah, just going wide. Too much pace into the corner. Couldn't make it stick, and the two drivers get past him there. But back up with Fernando Alonso. He is now just dropping off the pace with Valtteri Bottas. So again, we've managed to conserve a little bit and get stuff cooking where we need to. But I'm confident that Fernando Alonso will get back in within a second. He's on the faster tyre. And he'll be A-OK, I imagine, as Guan Yu Zhou, yeah, really dropped off the back of Gasly and is now fighting with Sebastian Vettel, which is a little bit annoying. Okay, so we've got some other people pitting. So it does look like Verstappen and Leclerc are going for a two-stop here. As they're coming back out, they're going to be behind Alonso. Sort of makes me feel like we need to push Fernando, though. So let's get him onto attack. We won't push that at the moment. Let's see if we can just break this DRS to Valtteri Bottas. We need to start pushing hard here, because we know then if other teams are doing a two-stopper, this is very, very interesting. We need to try and stay ahead of Valtteri Bottas as much as we can and really, really push. Really push Fernando. Come on, make this work. In fact, it looks like loads of people are doing a two-stopper. So Guan Yu Zhou could be in a really good position here, because he's just staying out now. He's making these medium tyres last until the end. So he's up into 10th at the moment, battling with Sebastian Vettel. I'm wondering if anyone else is going to pit. Vettel's surely going to stay out on those hards. All these guys. Alonso we know is going to come in. He might jump Alonso. Russell might come in. Okay, so Bottas is going on to the mediums, which is going to be quicker for him. What is the time difference here? We've got 7 seconds. We could pit for a fresh set. How long is the pit? Can anyone remember how long the pit stop is? Oh, these are the sort of information I should write down. Because do we want to bring Guan Yu Zhou onto the soft tyres at some point as well? Or no, we should see him out. We see him out. He's in a good position. He's done all right. We've got both of their fuels back online as well. So everyone's in a good position. Don't worry about it, Dave. Don't worry about it. Focus, stick to the plan. That is what we need to do. Alonso's going to pit again. He is going to come out quite far behind, probably just in front of Albon, behind Joe. But he'll be on a much quicker tyre, which is huge. Russell into the pits as well. So I wish it would pop up a little timer to say how long Russell was in the pits. That would be quite useful. Again, Frontier, little potential improvement for the future. But so Russell is in. So Alonso may have enough speed to just get past George Russell at this point as well. As I realise we are going to put our battery into a bit of a negative bit here. Zhou overtake failed on Sebastian Vettel, but he looks like he might get him in a minute. Not quite. Okay, back to Alonso then. One more lap, and then he's into the pits. Okay, Fernando Alonso is in. Verstappen has spun at turn 3, which is going to hold him up. He's going to lose some time to us. The key one here is Lando Norris is going to get past us, as is Vettel. If we can come out behind Zhou, I'm happy. On to the soft tyres we go. It's a 28, 29. It's a 2.7 stop. Where is Bottas? Bottas is going to get past us. Come on, Alonso. You've got to make this work. Got to make this work. Alonso comes out behind Valtteri Bottas, but we do know we can push this tyre and the fuel just a little bit to end this one here. As Fernando Alonso is there. He should get past Valtteri Bottas pretty easily and get onto the back of Guan Yu Zhou pretty fast as well. So at the moment, Zhou up into 9th. Both drivers into the points. Or Zhou into the points, and Alonso should be into the points. And catching Valtteri Bottas pretty easily with this one. And then it's just how far can Alonso go with 12 laps to go. So Fernando Alonso has already gained on Valtteri Bottas. That is lovely. That is the soft tyres coming into their own there. As Guan Yu Zhou has climbed into 8th position, but has got quite the gap to Lando Norris. And I don't want to push him too much. We can ask him to push his fuel a little bit more. But Fernando Alonso should make quite easy work of Valtteri Bottas in the next DRS zone, which is just coming up. And then we will have both drivers into the points. The battle with Vettel will carry on with Zhou. As you can see, they've just swapped positions there. And now this should be very easy for Fernando Alonso. And we're going to put the hammer down and try and get past him and catch up to that group in front. 5 seconds is the difference between Alonso and Guan Yu Zhou. And now we just need to leave Valtteri Bottas as best as we can. So Hamilton has spun at the front of the race on turn 16. But importantly, Alonso has caught up to Sebastian Vettel. And we are in a position here. Bottas has hung on to the back of us and is going to join this fight as well. So it's all about, can Zhou push away, to be honest. We need to get both drivers up there together and then push away. Guan Yu Zhou has just put his fuel into a bit of a danger zone. So we're going to see how this goes. 10 laps to go. Guan Yu Zhou's tyres are looking spot on, as are Fernando Alonso. So there is Alonso catching up on Guan Yu Zhou. We're going to let them battle. We're not going to do any team orders here. But Alonso on these soft tyres should blitz past both of these guys. The only issue is that if Bottas comes around with us as well, that is the issue here. Is you can see everyone in a nice little train. Alonso just waiting for his moment to pounce on the back of his teammate. And then I think what we're going to do is we're going to ask Guan Yu Zhou to absolutely floor it. The next DRS zone should be massive. It should be huge. And I think we're just about to get into it down this straight here as Fernando Alonso pulls out onto the left-hand side to get his teammate. There's a bit of swerving in front of him. Can Fernando Alonso get this move done? He needs to get both drivers. He's not going to, but Guan Yu Zhou gets through, which is absolutely epic. Alonso hanging on to the back. Right, Guan Yu Zhou, you need to absolutely fly, lad. If you're at the front of this group, you need to absolutely fly. Alonso drops down into 11th. Zhou up into 8th. Come on, Fernando. Come on, Guan Yu Zhou. Come on, right, deploy, both of you. Absolutely wang it, if that's a word, if that's a phrase. Guan Yu Zhou is obviously going to be susceptible to the DRS as we come around these corners now, and it's getting intense with a few laps to go in this one as we get to the end of the British Grand Prix. Guan Yu Zhou's tried to use his battery to get away, and this is where everyone's going to have DRS on him. How wide can he make that car, but also let his teammate catch up and get through? Doesn't quite make it happen, as we need to make sure that we keep his tyres in position for the end of this race. As Fernando Alonso just sitting at the back, I'm wondering, while we're sitting at the back there on the faster tyres, let's harvest up. And if we get anyone with DRS naturally, then that will be great as well. As Fernando is making a little move here, having a look at Valtteri Bottas. Can't quite make anything stick though. And he's going around the outside. But whilst we're harvesting up, I'm very happy because we're going to be saving a little bit here. And we've actually got Valtteri Bottas under harvest. Bottas trying to get back to us. The soft tyre doing well for Fernando at the moment. 6 laps to go in this one. And it's quite the battle to the end. And actually, Zhou is defending really well at the front with not much at his disposal in terms of battery, and obviously all the other drivers have DRS. But Fernando Alonso, can he get up, get double points finish in Britain? That would be absolutely epic. Look at the amount of battery we've charged at the moment. We can pop that back into neutral because we've maxed out the charging abilities. So hopefully on the next DRS straight we can make something work, and we can get this going. As I think Guan Yu Zhou is sort of pulling away in the corners. It looks like he is getting away from Sebastian Vettel in the corners. As we do have low laps remaining. Fuel is all on point. That's good. No safety cars in this one. A couple of yellow flags here and there. Nothing really to write home about. Fernando Alonso just seems to be getting boxed out when he tries to make a move, because there's 4 cars battling in the same sort of area. As Vettel has got past Guan Yu Zhou in this one now. But again, that just means Guan Yu Zhou will get DRS into the final few laps. And I think, again, we're going to potentially get Guan Yu Zhou just to harvest up in these first bits here. Right. Now, when do we go for it with Fernando Alonso? We could sit both drivers potentially back a little bit here and wait for the right moment to pounce. We've just got to make sure that we don't lose this group. I don't think we will. And Fernando Alonso on those soft tyres is doing a bloody good job at the moment. I feel like Fernando might be able to push a little bit more. Not just yet. Guan Yu Zhou, I think, will have some pushing him at the end. But you can see it's sort of like 4 wide every time. As soon as there's an overtaking area, it just goes to 4 wide. And I think at the moment, when we come down, we're going to get round these corners here. And when we get towards this DRS in this section, through the S's, we're going to deploy both drivers and see if we can get both of them up into the points as Bottas overtakes Zhou. Now, what we can't afford to do is lose either of these guys. So I think we're going to pop you back into neutral. And as we come through here, we're going to go deploy. We're going to deploy. We're going to push you a little bit on your tyres, Guan Yu Zhou. No, nothing too much. But we need both of you to get past the cars in front pretty much in the next few laps. So both of them had DRS. Fernando Alonso still just biding his time at the back. We're going to manage this actually really, really properly through this little section here. So we're going to come across the start, finish straight. Again, we'll go on to a bit of deploy for both drivers in this section. Can we get Sebastian Vettel here? Can we get him? Bottas could potentially pull away from Vettel because he is in a faster car. So again, we'll drop them both back down to neutral. We're trying to push the tyres a bit harder than I probably would have liked. Let's just get that back into deploy for both drivers. I feel like we need to make sure we keep it through. Yellow flag in sector 3. Is it going to be anything big? No, it's not, as Guan Yu Zhou does get past Vettel, as does Alonso. That is what we needed. That is what we needed. Both drivers getting through. That is good. Up to 9th and 10th. Now go and put the pressure on Valtteri Bottas. That is what we need to do there. We need to just make sure that we get that pressure on Valtteri Bottas and make these tyres last. So let's drop that back to standard. Battery is gone for both drivers. I feel like I'm talking very, very quickly as I get excited about this, as Guan Yu Zhou is losing a little bit of pace. Do we tell him to let Alonso go because he's on the quicker tyre? I feel like we do. Don't fight your teammate, let him through, and now get back on the pace. Don't lose that position to Vettel. Lovely, he didn't. He didn't. Okay, right, Alonso, you are now in the position to go and push on Valtteri Bottas. Come on, Guan Yu Zhou, hold on to that position. He does. And we're going to have to go back to the fight of Alonso on Bottas, who has got back into DRS range of Valtteri Bottas. This is tense. This is awesome. Right, we've got Guan Yu Zhou, who's just dropping off the pace there a little bit, which is a bit of a worry. 4 laps to go with this one. Both drivers with a bit of fuel to burn as well. Alonso dropping off the pace of Valtteri Bottas. He needs to get back into that DRS zone of Valtteri Bottas. He's got 10% left on his tyres with 3 laps to go, Guan Yu Zhou. Come on, Fernando. Come on. I think we've left Guan Yu Zhou behind. I think the pace in these tyres is just too much for Guan Yu Zhou. But if we can we've got to just keep pushing up. We are losing that ERS with Zhou as well. I think we're going to push him a little bit. How much has he got left of his tyres? It's going to be touch and go. It's going to be touch and go for Guan Yu Zhou. That rhymes. Alonso has lost the pace of Bottas and Norris up in front. It's tough for him. It is tough, but with 2 laps to go, I sort of feel like we might be able to push his tyres a bit harder. But I just don't... It's more about keeping both drivers in the points, and you'll imagine that Vettel is... I think we're going to have to harvest here. We're going to have to harvest with Guan Yu Zhou, maybe lose a lap to Vettel. It's been a good race, given that where we started. Both drivers have done very, very well, so we're going to put him into harvest. Vettel doesn't get that done. Wow, I thought Vettel would have got that done there. Alonso is sitting now sort of in a place all on his own, which is I'm not too fussed about at the moment. But is Vettel... Yeah, so Vettel's going to get past, which is fine. We're harvesting up. And, well, Guan Yu Zhou's trying to battle here. I think we'll go into neutral for this little section, just so that we keep pacing him coming out the corner. This isn't a DRS zone, so this is fine. And then again, I think we go into harvest for these little corners, which are quite quick corners. There's not much braking under here. But we've got a whole nother lap. I'm happy to sit behind Sebastian Vettel on this lap and then pounce on him like we love to do on the final lap, which will be good. So we're on the recharge. We're going to get DRS down this straight. But if we can sit behind him and actually conserve a little bit of our tyres as well, then we can go full push on the last lap. So that's fine for Guan Yu Zhou. He's settling in. He's sitting behind Sebastian Vettel, who is on the hard tyre. So we are on the faster tyre as well. As now we're harvesting and conserving tyres, which is a wonderful position to be in. I think as soon as it's the last lap, we're just going to tell both drivers to go absolutely full send and see what we can do. These guys are coming on to their final lap. So Perez starts his final lap right now. He's coming up to lap Sonoda on that one as well. You can see on the mini-map. But Guan Yu Zhou still within DRS, which is going to put him right up behind Sebastian Vettel up here. How is Alonso doing? 1.8 seconds off the pace. So he's got a lot of work to do if he's going to get back into this one, but I don't think he is. But you never know when we go full push. You never, ever know. Let's get Fernando just to harvest up in these final few sections as well, as Zhou keeping really good pace with Vettel as we're conserving and getting the battery where we want it. And I feel like as we come around this corner, right, so deploy, attack, push, get everything going with Fernando into the final. I think this is the final lap. As Guan Yu Zhou starts his final lap, attack, push, deploy. Come on, Guan Yu Zhou. We're going to stay on board with Guan Yu Zhou as he's trying to get it done against Sebastian Vettel. And what can Guan Yu Zhou done? He's charged the battery up well. He's conserved his tyres. He's going to have enough to push on this last lap. And he's got the DRS. He's going out to the left-hand side to try and make a move on Vettel. And he does get it done in that first DRS zone. Now he's got to put the gap so that there isn't anything left for Sebastian Vettel on the next DRS zone. That is crucial as Alonso rinses his battery early on. And we're up to P10. Both drivers into the points. 9 and 10 at the moment. Can the young Chinese driver make this stick? Sebastian Vettel trying to stay with him. It's going to be very close coming into this last DRS bit. So over the line is Perez who wins it. Sainz second, Verstappen third, Russell fourth, Hamilton fifth, Leclerc sixth. It's going to be a great position for Bottas in seventh and Norris in eighth. And here we go. I think we've got enough of a gap down this DRS straight. Vettel's getting closer but closes his rear wing. Come on, make this stick, Guan Yu Zhou. Make this stick as you come into the final few corners. Don't succumb to the pressure as Fernando Alonso is coming around the final corners. Vettel right on the back of Guan Yu Zhou. We're going to quickly dive up to Alonso to see him cross the line. And Guan Yu Zhou is going to gain 10th. And it is a double points finish for Aston Martin. Absolutely stuff. Great stuff. And a one stop for Guan Yu Zhou and a two stop for Alonso. Both strategies working well. We go higher than we started, and that is superb. Both drivers into the top 10 for Aston Martin. We are going places as a team, and what a drive from Guan Yu Zhou and Fernando Alonso as well. Absolutely superb. If I'd managed Alonso's ERS a little bit more manually, we probably could have got 7th, but I think 9th and 10th with the strategies we used, absolutely brilliant. So with all the drivers crossing the line then, Max Verstappen got the fastest lap. Fernando Alonso up 2 places to 9th. Guan Yu Zhou up 4 places to 10th. Really, really good stop. It was a one-stopper that won it for Sergio Perez, but a good mix of strategies from the AI is really good to see. And it's good to show that one stopper isn't always the best. As you can see, 2 stoppers here. Max Verstappen did lose a couple of places, but Russell on a 2 stopper gained 2 spots. Charles Leclerc on a 2 stopper dropped 3 spots. So yeah, really good. Lando Norris doing a 1 stopper gained a position, but Fernando Alonso and Guan Yu Zhou is who we care about, and that is 3 points for Aston Martin. So into the drivers, no changes for us two, but Sergio Perez does gain ever so slightly on his teammate Max Verstappen. And into the constructors, Red Bull absolutely dominating with this one. Aston Martin staying 4th. Alfa Romeo do make a little bit of a gain, 3 points there. But if we can stay best of the rest, I'll be very, very happy. So our race simulator is upgraded, which means our XP gains through the weekends will be improved. Great for our younger drivers. We've got something that needs doing, which is regulation vote. Okay, so in the 90s a top heavy scoring system was used that ruled only the fastest teams and drivers. We propose a sporting regulation change back to this vintage scoring structure. So pole position bonus point, yes. Fastest lap bonus point, yes. Double points for the last race, yes. And you would get, okay, so the point allocation wouldn't change, but you would have pole position and double points. Why not? That sounds bloody fun, doesn't it? That sounds fun. Double points on the last race sounds very fun. Vote for this regulation change. Confirm. As long as these points don't change, I think I'm happy with that. I don't want it to be 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But I'm happy to get a few extra points for different things happening in the race system. That's great. As the British Grand Prix was won by Sergio Perez, we are exceeding expectations, which was good, and we're doing very well. Guan Yu Zhou picked up a development point, so I think we're actually going to put this one into accuracy. So following the racing line becomes very, very useful for him. Drugovic also has one as well. I think we're going to put that into braking. Again, we're going to get all of these up to 80 and then focus on accuracy for him. He's doing well in his P1 sessions, replacing Alonso in those. Guan Yu Zhou got a remaining contract for 2 years. 2 years. Fernando Alonso is doing very, very well. We can't give him a new one just yet because he's just recently signed. But I feel like he's on course to get another contract if he wants it. Right, we will be back for the next Grand Prix in Austria at the Red Bull Ring. Not too much happening in between then. We've done the vote. We've got a few sponsorship things to do. But for now, we're in a great position with Aston Martin. And I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.